like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given. But, you know, I mean, look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a seat.
The basketball world is officially on fire. Cheryl Miller, yes, the Cheryl Miller, a legend whose words carry the weight of history, has finally broken her silence. And what she revealed, it's the exact truth millions of fans have been shouting about for months. According to her, Team USA never actually wanted Caitlin Clark. Not a rumor, not a hint, not a vague suggestion. She laid it all out in brutal, undeniable detail. And within minutes of her comments hitting the airwaves, the internet lost its mind. Cheryl didn't offer a hot take. She didn't sugarcoat a thing. She exposed the politics, the jealousy, and what she believes is a deliberate effort to keep Caitlin Clark in her place. This wasn't an opinion, it was a reality check from one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. But before we break down these explosive comments, I need to hear from you. Do you believe Team USA is actively trying to hold Caitlin back? Or is this all just coincidence after coincidence? Drop your thoughts right now, because this debate is everywhere.
Sky's the limit for her. To be around her, just talk about the type of person she is and how much she loves the game.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her. I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my
skin
color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. And I was pleased and proud.
Let's get one thing straight. Cheryl Miller didn't whisper. She didn't dodge the topic or hide behind diplomatic language. She grabbed a microphone and said out loud what millions have been screaming into the void. She argued that Caitlin Clark is being intentionally held back by the very organizations that should be celebrating her. And when a titan like Cheryl Miller speaks, the entire sport goes silent and listens. This isn't some analyst looking for clicks. This is a Hall of Famer who understands exactly what it feels like to be the face of the game and the resistance that comes with it. Her words cut deep. She said Caitlin Clark changed basketball, and that is exactly why they fear her. Not jealousy, not misunderstanding. Fear. They fear her popularity. They fear her meteoric rise. They fear that she didn't follow their approved path. And most of all, they fear she has already become bigger than the institution itself. From day one, what did Caitlin bring? Everything the sport desperately needed. Record-breaking TV ratings, sold-out arenas, new fans who had never watched a WNBA game, global attention no one else could generate. And what did she get in return? Hard fouls, zero protection, questionable benchings, a cheap shot that somehow wasn't even called a flagrant, and an endless list of excuses from people who should have had her back.
If I'm insecure, if I've got my own mental issues going on, who do I talk to? I don't regret being born when I was.
Right.
I'm in the right place at the right time. It's just been fascinating to watch these young ladies come up and now take the baton and take it to a different level.
She handled it in a graceful way as well. Some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
That's when Cheryl finally said what no one inside Team USA or the WNBA front office had the courage to admit publicly. They don't want Caitlin because she overshadows everyone else. And this wasn't speculation. Cheryl explained the pattern clearly. Every time a young superstar rises too fast, threatens the hierarchy, or becomes bigger than the system pushes back. Caitlin didn't slowly climb the ladder. She rocketed to the top. She arrived with massive popularity, global influence, and a fan base bigger than the entire league. That disrupts the order, and powerful people hate disruption. Team USA, like any big institution, has a hierarchy. Veterans first, rookies wait their turn, Follow the system. Earn your way up slowly. Caitlyn skipped that entire process. And Cheryl said something even deeper. Team USA had already made up their mind about Caitlyn long before roster decisions were made. They wanted to protect the veterans, preserve the old guard, and keep the spotlight exactly where they believed it should be. Caitlyn wasn't welcomed. She was managed, controlled, treated like a threat instead of a generational talent. Then Cheryl dropped the real bomb. Team USA was terrified that Caitlyn Clark would become the biggest star on the roster before the Olympics even began, drawing more attention than the veterans, more media, more ratings, more everything. And fans saw the signs: cold body language, strange rotations, hard fouls that somehow weren't flagrant, constant nitpicking, glaring double standards. Cheryl summed it up. Caitlyn Clark is being punished for being great.
In a graceful way as well. Some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of hard, right?
And I used and Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given, but look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So, with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
What Cheryl Miller said next was not just insightful, it was a direct hit to the center of a problem that fans, analysts, and even some former players have been whispering about for months. She finally gave voice to the uneasy feeling people couldn't quite articulate. She exposed a reality that has been hiding in plain sight. The politics of Team USA are tied directly to the exact same political games being played every night inside the WNBA. According to Cheryl, none of this is random. None of this is just how the game works. No, she insisted it's a system, a deeply rooted internal network of favoritism, loyalty circles, and unspoken rules that shape who rises, who stalls, and who gets quietly pushed aside. And in a system like that, someone like Caitlyn Clark was never going to get a smooth or fair path. Think about it. Every major sports organization has politics. But in women's basketball, where the talent pool is small, the leadership groups are tight-knit, and many of the same faces remain influential for decades, these politics become even more powerful. They become invisible barriers, walls you can feel but can't see. Cheryl broke those walls open. Favoritism is real. Power circles are real. Loyalty is real, sometimes too real. That's what she said. And suddenly a lot of things that didn't make sense all season started making perfect sense. She explained that Team USA, much like the WNBA, operates with a clear hierarchy. Veteran loyalty has always been a cornerstone of the program. And in some cases, that loyalty borders on rigid, inflexible, and deeply exclusionary. Players who have been around for a decade or more often receive automatic preferential treatment, not because they're the best players at that moment, but because they're part of the family, part of the circle that has been protected for years. And in that kind of environment, there's almost no room for a young, explosive, wildly popular superstar who didn't come through their system and who became bigger than their system overnight. Caitlyn Clark didn't take the traditional path, and that terrified them. Cheryl highlighted something that many fans had mentioned but couldn't fully grasp. Caitlyn Clark never came through the USA basketball youth pipelines. She wasn't molded in their official camps, wasn't slowly introduced into the program, and wasn't conditioned under their coaching trees. She didn't rise through the pre-approved channels that Team USA had built and controlled for decades. Instead, she entered the WNBA with something almost unheard of: her own massive independent fan base. She had millions of fans before she ever wore a professional jersey. She had mainstream celebrity status before playing a single professional game. She had more cultural influence than entire franchises. That's not just unusual, that's unprecedented. And according to Cheryl, that alone put a massive target on her back. The people who were used to being the gatekeepers suddenly weren't in control anymore. They weren't controlling the narrative, the marketing, or the spotlight. And for groups like Team USA, groups built on structure, seniority, and tradition, this kind of disruption is like a wrecking ball hitting the foundation. She didn't climb the ladder. She jumped to the top. Cheryl said it bluntly, and to the decision-makers in charge, that wasn't a story worth celebrating. It was a threat, a challenge to their authority, a reminder that the world was changing faster than they were willing to accept. Cheryl then revealed something even more explosive. Team USA had already made up its mind about Caitlin months before the official roster meetings even began. According to her, the plan was simple and deliberate: protect the veterans, maintain the existing hierarchy, and under no circumstances let a 22-year-old rookie become the face of the most sacred institution in women's basketball. In their eyes, Caitlin Clark was not a generational talent to be embraced. She was a problem to be managed, a fire to be contained, a spotlight to be dimmed before it outshined everyone else. This wasn't the typical rookie must earn her stripes mindset. Cheryl said this went far deeper. It was a system fighting to preserve itself, even if it meant holding back the one player who could elevate the sport globally. And then came the real fear. The fear Cheryl said nobody wanted to admit. They were terrified that Caitlin Clark would become the uncontested star of Team USA before the Olympics even began. Just imagine that. A 22-year-old player being more talked about than the veterans who had been representing the country for a decade. A single rookie generating more media buzz, more ratings, more engagement, more merchandise interest, and more global attention than the entire rest of the roster combined. That wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. Caitlin Clark was already outdrawing top players in ratings, already dominating highlight reels, already the center of every conversation. The Olympics would have amplified that by 100, and Team USA leadership was not ready for a new era where the youngest player on the team overshadowed everyone else. So instead of embracing the opportunity, they pushed back aggressively, and fans saw it all unfold in real time. The cold stares, the dismissive body language, the bizarre rotations, the increasingly obvious double standards, asterisk, asterisk. Caitlin would be benched at moments that made no basketball sense. She'd be targeted physically and receive no protection. Her mistakes were magnified. Her successes were minimized. And every time she pulled off something spectacular, something only she could do, the resentment seemed to grow. Cheryl said what fans had been trying to say. The treatment wasn't accidental. It was intentional. You don't treat your most impactful young star like this unless you're trying to send a message. And the message was clear. Stay in your lane. Know your place. Do not rise too quickly. And absolutely do not outshine the people we've already decided are supposed to be the faces of this program. But Caitlin didn't listen. She just kept being great. Every deep three, every impossible pass, every sold-out arena, every viral highlight, every time millions tuned in just to watch her, she kept rising. And each time she rose, the pushback got stronger. Cheryl said it plainly. Caitlin Clark wasn't punished for being difficult. She was punished for being great. Generationally great. Threateningly great. System-disrupting great. And greatness that disrupts the hierarchy is the kind that institutions try to control, contain, or suppress. Cheryl pointed to the entire season as proof. The hard fouls that never resulted in suspensions. The obvious push-offs and elbows that were somehow labeled common fouls. The passive-aggressive interviews. The players who openly targeted her knowing the officials wouldn't intervene. The analysts who nitpicked her every move while praising others for doing the same things. And worst of all, the silence, the people in power, the ones who should have protected her, supported her, and celebrated her, said nothing. Not the league, not Team USA, not the officials, not the decision makers. Nobody stood up for her. That silence said everything. Then Cheryl dropped the third major bombshell, the internal divide inside Team USA. Some coaches wanted her badly. They knew exactly how much value she brought, not just to the team's performance, but to the entire global impact of women's basketball. Others wanted her gone, or at the very least, minimized. Some teammates embraced her and appreciated the spotlight she brought to the sport. Others resented her, resented the attention, resented the coverage, resented the comparisons. Some executives loved the ratings, the sponsorship growth, and the unprecedented surge in fan interest. Others hated the disruption, hated the change, hated that the program they controlled was being overtaken by a new superstar they didn't create. This wasn't about basketball anymore. This was pure politics, ego politics, power politics, legacy politics. And in the middle of that storm stood a 22-year-old rookie who just wanted to play basketball.